It doesn't look like I've got anything greening up in here yet. It's pretty dry though. You can see the ground's cracked pretty terribly in it. But you can see these more mature plants in here. There's not any green coming in just yet, I don't think. We'll look down here pretty close, and I don't see anything popping on them yet. So again, it's the 4th day of March, and we're not seeing a lot of activity in here. We'll go down over here over the hillside and take a look at that northwest corner. So we'll take a look here in this area where there's a lot of walnut leaves. Here's a small plant. Look down in here, look at there. So it is starting to germinate or come back. Looks like we got one over here too. Better species. A lot of green coming in on that one. Definitely over here. Not sure what that is right there. That's more of a cool season, I think. So here's another one that I found all by its lonesome. Looks like we've got some green coming up on it. And then I see these little green kind of oblong shaped leaves. See them popping up all over the place. I'm not sure what that's going to be. We'll keep an eye on that. Here's a clump. And if you look down in there, you can see there's definitely some green starting to pop in there. So I'd say the green up's just around the corner for these natives. So as we check on these very, very small plants to see if they survive the winter, I'm going to come in here and you can kind of see there's some green in this one, and there seems to be some green in that one as well. Right there you can see plants starting to green up. So all in all, it looks pretty good to me. So it appears that we've got some germination going on. All we can say is hallelujah. You can see over here we've got these natives right here. They've got some pretty good growth on them already. I don't know if that's Indian grass. Probably. I think it's a little earlier than the big blue. So this area right here, underneath this walnut tree and up along the tree line, that edge right there, it's got a lot of natives, young ones in here. I'm guessing some of the seed is germinated. I'll be interested to see how well this does in this shaded area and underneath the canopy of this walnut tree. Poor old walnut's seen better days. She's weathered a lot of storms. Well, today is tax day, April 15th. And I came up here to shoot the native warm seasons, give you an idea how they're doing. And you can see we're starting to see a little growth on it. And it's still early. I'd like to see more new plants come up. We've got these little spots, right here. I don't know if you can see them right there. And I've got these little spots coming up right here. And kind of in the middle of my screen next to that rock. Those appear to be maybe left over from last year, but they're coming up as well. And over here, I'm going to walk over this way a little bit where you can see this area over here on the north slope, top of the north slope here. It's starting to come in pretty good. I'd like to see it all kind of look like this, but well, it's just not coming in this way. I mean, you can see it out here. So we'll come back in a week or so and take a look at it. Hopefully we'll see more. So this is April the 20th. I just wanted to do a quick video here. We'll splice all these together a little later. Just want to show you the progression of the native warm seasons in the spring, how they're growing. You can see them out here a little better now. They're starting to fill in around the clumps. You're seeing some growth. Still pretty sparse in areas. I don't know what my expectation was. I guess probably something like this everywhere, but you know, it is what it is. We'll just see what it looks like later on in May, towards the 1st of June. So this is the native warm season planting update, May the 1st. And this is that wash area. And you can see we've got some natives growing right in here. And so they're kind of spread out through this wash area. This is all the topsoil that washed off that hillside up there. And you can see natives are coming in this area here, which was predominantly, I think, fescue. And you can see the height of the natives in there. They're still pretty sparse. There's some smaller plants mixed in, so I think those are some late developments last year, maybe a few earlies this year. But you know, it is what it is. We'll see how it goes over the next couple of months, and hopefully we'll see a better crop. Something that we'll be a little bit more happy with. And you can see the warm seasons out there. The sun's kind of shining on them, highlighting them a little bit. There's a lot of green along the edges back over there on the side. I don't know if that's all warm seasons or if we've got some other grasses starting to come in over there. I'll walk over there and take a look at it, but you can see this corner here starting to green up. I don't know, looks like there's some other stuff besides warm seasons sprouting. So this is this area that I was talking about. You can see from the other side a good stand of natives right through here, and you can kind of see them out in there. And then I've got all this other green coming in, you know, the sun here along the edges. Definitely have some undesirables in here. Broadleafs. Black-eyed Susans probably. And then in here, there's an assortment, but there's some natives in here too. So I like that. Good stand of it right here. So this is a native. I'm gonna guess it's Indian grass. Very, very thick stand of it. We'll walk this way and you can kind of see that we've got a variety of plants coming up. A lot of it I can see clover, hop clover. Now there's probably some Lespedeza in here. Yeah, I see some Lespedeza. It's the Korean variety. Got some horse nettle. Right here. And here's some red clover. And there's some, oh, looks like that might be Lespedeza. So I have some panorama. If necessary, I can come up here and spray some of this stuff. Now this, I'm not sure. I think that's, that could be Indian grass. I think that's a blue stem right here. I don't know if that's little blue or big blue. Probably little blue. So I think that's Indian grass, and then next to it is some blue stem, big blue stem. And then we walk into a more barren area. You can see it's a lot more sparse in here. I did plant Virginia wild rye, but it's starting to look better. Still a little sparse in areas, as I said, but I'm liking what I see. So right here's a forb. I think I've identified that already. Not really sure if I remember what it was. It's some kind of a clover though. Prairie clover, I believe. Well folks, here it is. Looks like we've got quite a bit of weeds trying to come in here, but there's also some natives that are standing tall. You can kind of see up here that there are some natives mixed in with other things. I'm probably going to have to do some spot spraying with that panorama. Not much vegetation here in the middle yet. I was kind of looking around here again, see if I could see anything sprouting up. And you can kind of see right here, that's a little green shoot. I don't know if that's a native or if it's just some other grass that's trying to come up. Obviously there's a big seed bank in here, so we'll have to keep an eye on things and not let it, the unwanted, take over. Down here, I know this is a native. It's trying to come up. You can see this washed area right through here. Wish we didn't have all this topsoil washing off of this little ridge, but we just didn't get the natives established like we wanted to last year. There's something we're going to get rid of. Locust plant. You can kind of see that we do have quite a few natives. They're spread out here and there, and they're starting to take off. Does look pretty good. There's something over here that I want to go take a look at, see what that is. Oh, that's definitely a weed. I'm not sure. It's not horse nettle, but it's got some spiny stems on it. Looks like we've got quite a few plants in here coming in. Give it another month and things should really start to get a little thicker. I don't know if we'll fill in these blank spots in here with some new seedlings, or if we're going to have to just do some overseeding down the road. That's that purple prairie clover that we saw last week, I guess it was. It didn't have the seed heads on it then. Now we're starting to see these flowers come on and get a better look at what it's going to kind of look at like. Again, I haven't seen too many of them in this mix, but that doesn't mean there won't be any more coming up. So I believe this here is common prairie crest. I'll have to look on my seed list and see if this is part of that Ford package that I had. So this area right through here is part of this wash area, I call it, where the topsoil washed down off that ridge and came around and washed over here. You can see there's a lot of natives starting to germinate in there. So I think this will fill in with mostly warm season grasses. So this is a little plant I just saw. I'm pretty sure that it's something I may have planted. It's called Thunberg's Lespedeza. So we'll keep an eye on this one, see what it turns out to be. Of course, we're seeing some of this ragweed come up. And you'll see there's a little clover, some other forbs as well. So this is a spring forget-me-not. So we'll probably only see this in the springtime. It's a pretty little plant. So this plant right here, I believe is tarragon. I'm not sure that this is something I've planted or if it's came up wild, but it's another plant that I found out here. So I want to get a shot of this area right here so you can see where I came up with my planting area. There's a difference in vegetation that's existing, and then as I move over here just a little bit, you can see where I have planted, and I'm almost 100% sure that that's all native in there. I don't think there's a whole lot of stuff that's left from what was growing in there before we tilled all this up. And this area right here is very, very thick with the native grasses, which is what I had hoped for the whole planting area. As you can see, it's a little barren out there. Now this is a butterfly milkweed, and it's got some good growth to it. And just kind of looking at the tops of it, you can see right here on that stem, I would say we've got something else that likes it too. And looking around, it appears that we have a deer track right there. So I'm going to guess that the deer like those milkweed, and that's the only one I see right now. We'll kind of look around and see what else we see. So this plant right here, I believe might be sweet sage wort. And at first glance, I thought it might be ragweed, like an annual ragweed, similar to that one right over there. But it's much more compact and looks a little bit different than the regular ragweed. So this is one of the areas that was fairly barren last fall, late summer. And if you look real closely, you'll see a lot of smaller single stem longleaf plants coming up. And I believe that is germination from seed that was laying in the bank. And we'll see if that's the case as the month goes on. Well, this would be a honey locust plant. And you can see the little thorns on it coming up. And you can see the tips have been nipped at, so I would say the deer have been nipping on it a little bit too. I'm really quite surprised that I don't see more forbs coming up. Of course, they could be more of a summer forb and need a little bit warmer weather to finish germinating. There's a lot of things coming up and are completely unidentifiable. So this is the natives. This is how they're looking. I've looked down through there and I can see quite a few very new grasses coming in. So I think we're going to see an improvement here in the next few days. So this is that, I guess this is going to say it's about 50, 60 feet wide strip, which is really just along this tree line right here. And just on the other side of that post, T-post there with the white PVC around it, is where I had stopped my tilling and planting. So I think there's probably right there at that edge, there's going to be a mix of different species of cool season grasses and warm season grasses and some of these natives that I planted. I'll try to get over there and we'll get a shot of it. And this is kind of what it looks like. And there is a lot of natives in there. There's also some cool seasons. Not as much as I thought. And we've got some forbs, probably some unwanteds there in the ragweed. So definitely want to probably suppress the ragweed a little bit so it doesn't take away from my natives getting well established, which if they get going, I think we're going to see a lot of thickness of native warm seasons in here. This is an area that you can see is well established A lot of returning warm seasons from last year, and I think really all in all I'm going to be very pleased with this area right here. So today is the 15th of June. I'm out here in the native warm season planting area. This is the west side of it, which was thick this spring. You can see the plants in here are not extremely tall, but there are plentiful plants. Over here towards the middle of the planting area, they're a little more sparse in the planting as far as plants go. Some of the plants are just coming up this year. There appears to be some crabgrass that's coming in. And we've got some of the plants that are starting to go to seed. I think that's probably big blue. I think Indian grass may seed a little later. I'll have to check that. I'm not real sure, to be honest with you. I don't remember in which order they actually come to flower. There are these plants in here. You can see them right here. Several of them. I don't know if there's some of the forbs that I planted or if that's just a weed coming in. I did see one over there on the far side, back over here. I'll walk over there and get a shot of it. So this is that plant that I was talking about. It's got some flower on it. I'm not sure exactly what kind of plant it is. Could be a poppy of some type, but it's reaching the end of its flowering stage, I believe. But you can see the plants in here and how sparse things are up here on this area. But as I walk through here, I can see quite a few small plants that are starting to develop. Again, this could be some crabgrass, or it could just be some of the seed that I planted last year that's finally starting to germinate. I hated the fact that we lost so much topsoil here, but we had some really heavy rains there last August, and it washed quite a bit of topsoil off of this planting area. Now I think this is some type of a forb. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't see much of this on the farm anyplace else, so this could be some of that I planted. But you can tell it's starting to get later in the year. These plants are starting to fill out, get taller, more robust. And we have patches of ragweed here and there. I'm going through with the tank sprayer and just doing some spot spraying. Kind of knock it back a little bit. We got a lot of Lespedeza in here. And then the occasional thistle. I spray those a little bit. And over here is one of these forbs that I planted. You can see them along the roadside occasionally too, so I do know that they are a species that is native to this area. And then right back here behind me is another small plant. This is prairie clover. There's some white clover there. You know, I planted that red clover last year when I seeded in here, thinking I'd get some red clover coming in to help with nitrogen fixation, but I really don't see that much red clover in here. Again, this is that patch that's very well established. So here we are, the 28th of June, and the natives are really starting to seed out. You can see all the 12 seed stalks, and there is some forbs in here. There's also some crabgrass, but all in all, it's looking pretty good. Still have some bare spots in here, but you can see there are small sprigs that are here and there. There's one over here, and we got one here. So this is about the size of those last year this time, so there's hope that we'll see further filling in these bare spots. And of course, if we get the seeds to fall on the ground and they can take root, it'll help thicken up the plot as well. So, but this is what we have, the 28th of June. Approximately a year and a month, or about 13 months ago, was when this was planted. And there's big blue in here, which is probably most of it that's starting to flower. There's also some little blue, and then there's also Indian grass. Those are the three main grasses that you're going to see in here. I've yet to see any of the Virginia wild rye. I hope we'll see some of that next spring or fall.